What is up, T.O.Gs? Welcome to part 1 of 3 of my motovlogging series. Part 1 will get a beginner started and ready to record their first vlog on the road, while parts 2 and 3 will explore best practices for those who stick with it and want to get the most out of the experience. This series is meant to help anyone wanting to start a motovlogging YouTube channel from scratch. These videos are an accumulation of the tips and tricks I wish I knew when I started, and I hope you find this series to be helpful. Starting a motovlog can be intimidating and costly, but I found it to be worth my time and money. For me, motovlogging is fun and it satisfies my creative need, all while opening me up to a whole new community that spans the globe. I've decided to make this series of videos to give you a realistic and comprehensive look at what it takes to start up your very own motovlogging channel. Before we jump in, I wanted to take a moment to advise anyone who just got their motorcycle license to be cautious. It may seem easy to ride and talk at the same time, but if multitasking in this way doesn't come naturally to you and you find talking while you ride is distracting, please understand that your safety is priority number 1, and certainly more important than your channel. And because of that, I would advise any prospective motovlogger to be a confident rider first. With that out of the way, let's jump right in. In part 1, we're going to discuss the upfront costs and setup of a channel. I started my channel with a fairly affordable helmet setup and did all of my editing on my iPhone with iMovie, which is a free app you can download for your iPhone. Before you begin, know how much you have to spend. I would warn against the idea of, well, I kind of need a new helmet anyway, and my phone could use an upgrade, so I'll just do that now. If you've got money in the budget to do that, fine, absolutely do that. But just remember that you're going to be dropping a relatively fair amount of money on your setup, and things can add up quickly if you're not carefully considering each step. Under the assumption you already own a helmet that you can set up your camera and mic on, a motorcycle, that's huge, and an editing program, you can get started motovlogging for just the cost of the camera, mounting setup, and mic. Some motovloggers choose to just do video and edit in sound after, but really the mic is one of the least expensive parts of your helmet setup, so I'd encourage you to start out with that. But the record visual and audio separately is a good way to start out if you're a new rider and still uncomfortable with writing and talking. Let's take a quick look at how I've set my helmet up. But before we do that, let's send a big shout out to Blockhead for his tutorial, which is how I've set my helmet up. If you'd like a more detailed tutorial for your helmet setup, I suggest following the link at the top of your screen to go to Blockhead's video. He's going to give you a step-by-step tutorial on how to set up your helmet the same way I've set mine up, and I highly suggest his video. So let's take a look at my helmet. I'm not going to use the audio from the mic that I'm on right now because I'm actually wearing the helmet that I use for dual vlogs. This is my wife's helmet, or my daughter's helmet, the ones that they wear when we do dual vlogs. And to avoid you listening to heavy breathing, because right now you're getting a lot of my breath because there's no ambient noise, there's no motorcycle noise, there's no wind noise. What is up, T.O.Gs? On our way somewhere, and I left a little bit early, and this is exactly why I left early. So you're hearing all of my breath, and it's annoying. So we're going to take a look at the helmet. We're going to use a different audio, but just so that you know, it's a very similar setup to what I've got inside here. So this is the kind of audio that you're going to be looking at if you go with the same setup that I have. Okay, so let's take a look inside. So we've got the GoPro Hero camera mounted up here in front. This is the standard GoPro mount, and then we've got the curved arm bracket here, and then the L bracket there, so that you have the camera situated as it is. All of this is one piece. This is the GoPro mic adapter, which we'll talk about later. Here's your cord for your lav mic, which will go inside your helmet. It will wrap around here, around the ear, which is where you have a lot of space, even though you might have a speaker in there. And then it wraps around here to the front. And here is my lav mic. I don't know, it's a little bit hard to see in this, but it's just got a standard filter on it. You could also use a dead cat filter, which is what I'm using on the helmet that I'm taking video of right now. Now I've got a Bluetooth, which has a separate battery, so that's taking up even more space. Also, you've got the speakers on both sides that are taking up some space. So you're going to be pressed for space. I mean, it's already tight inside your helmet, you already know that. But with all this wiring, you just have to be very organized about that, and we'll talk about that a little bit later too. There you go.
We now return to your regular programming.
Now obviously this is not the end-all be-all of rigs. I've seen cameras on top, I've seen cameras on the side, and you can situate yours in whatever way you can to make it work. keeping in mind that not all helmets have the same availability for mounts on the exterior of your helmet. I can only tell you what works for me, and it seems to be working well. Enough so that I've received several comments asking for what I do to get solid audio. I've used both a dead cat and a standard filter, and both have worked similarly well. But the biggest difference for me is having a chin curtain. Having a helmet with a chin curtain is going to be your best bet for eliminating wind noise. Now, as we look at each piece of your helmet setup, I'm going to give you specific numbers on everything I did so your expectations will be clear. Also, you should understand that a lot of time goes into running a YouTube channel, and I mean a lot. So if time is money to you, I'll leave that to you to factor into your budget. First and foremost, let's talk about camera costs. If you're going the classic GoPro Hero and mic setup that a lot of motovloggers use, including myself, you can go on eBay or Amazon and get a pre-owned or refurbished GoPro for about $200. If you choose to go the new route, which I personally found to be a better investment, expect to pay about $300 for your camera. Mounts, mounting tape, and Velcro are negligible in comparison. Expect to pay somewhere between $10 and $20 for your mounting materials. If you buy a new GoPro, you can definitely start with the adhesive mounts that come with the camera. A decent mic can be had for $20 to $50. Finally, with GoPro, mics are not plug and play. You'll need to purchase a GoPro mic adapter for $50. I understand that this is pricey and seems unnecessary, but I've been using the same mic adapter since I started my channel over 2 years ago. Now let me give you a couple of pointers on mic use. First, if you're not getting any audio in your video, it may be because your jack, though it technically fits in your adapter, is not compatible. Check the rings on your mic jack. If there are 3 rings, you may need to add an adapter that only has 2, and then try again. Second, practice good cable management. It's crowded in your helmet, and if you're already sporting a Bluetooth, then you've got even less real estate to work with. So use zip ties or twist ties and be thoughtful about that process. There are links in the description for all the pieces I use in my setup, and I'm an Amazon associate, so if you use my links, you're helping a brother out. Alright, let's sum up these costs. If you've gone the pre-owned and most affordable route, you're looking at about $300 to get started. If you've gone the new route, expect upfront costs to be around $450. And that's it. Now that you're set up, we can move on to part 2. If you have any questions regarding part 1, please leave them in the comments, or feel free to hit me up on my website at thatoneguymoto.com. You can also hit me up on Facebook or Instagram by sending me an instant message, and those links are all in the description. If you've made it to the end of the video, share with us what camera you will use and why. Also, what camera do you plan on graduating to, or are you just going to go for that camera right out of the gate? If you found this video to be helpful or enjoyed yourself, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. That's it for part 1. I will see you in part 2. And guys, if you're out there riding, be safe. And if you're not riding, get riding. I'm that one guy, and I am out.